In the current scenario, the advancement and popularity of electric vehicles are undeniable. This new horizon in automotive mobility has been gaining more and more followers. Large corporations, especially those shaping the automotive sector, pour billions of dollars annually, aiming to innovate and dominate this emerging segment of sustainable cars. However, among this group of giants, Toyota has taken a notably distinct route. Many may wonder, why isn't Toyota, being a dominant force in the automotive world, at the forefront of the electric race? The answer may not be so simple. When considering Toyota's approach, one must weigh two distinct strategies. Is it better to go all in on a bold move in the present or to remain cautious, meticulously preparing for the distant future? For Toyota, it seems that the answer strongly leans towards the latter option. Looking back a bit in time, in the early years of the 21st century, Toyota already demonstrated its commitment to sustainable innovation. It was during this time that the automaker launched the Toyota Prius, the hybrid vehicle that would become an icon. The launch was not only a response to the growing global demand for greener solutions but also a clear demonstration of forward thinking. At that moment, the global debate on climate change and the need to reduce emissions was just beginning to gain traction. However, the Prius was only part of the equation. In 2010, in a move that took many by surprise, Toyota acquired a stake in Tesla, an electric car startup that was starting to attract attention. This acquisition could be interpreted as a clear interest in the electric market. However, in 2017, in another twist, Toyota sold all of those shares. Why this sudden change of direction? The decision was not merely based on financial gains or losses. It was an indication that Toyota saw the sustainable mobility landscape in a more multifaceted way. It wasn't just about transitioning from fossil fuel to electric, but a deeper and more comprehensive transformation. Still, it is impossible to ignore Toyota's commitment to sustainability. Over the years, the company has actively worked to influence policies that moderate the accelerated growth of electric vehicles. It may seem contradictory to some, but in 2022, the automaker introduced its new electric car to the world, the Toyota bZ4X SUV. However, even with this launch, challenges arose swiftly. The company faced issues with the new model, leading to recalls in various markets. This sequence of events serves as a reminder that innovation has its obstacles. And perhaps Toyota's cautious approach makes sense. After all, while the company plans to invest $13 billion in sustainable batteries by 2030, other automakers are moving forward with much more aggressive investments. Ford, for example, announced a $50 billion expenditure by 2026, exclusively focused on electric cars. Volkswagen plans to invest $180 billion in the next 4 years. The massive figures highlight a critical point: the transition from combustion to electric vehicles is a monumental challenge. It's not just a matter of technology, but also of logistics, infrastructure, and market acceptance. And this is where Toyota's concerns and approach become clearer. For them, it is essential that the mobility revolution be both sustainable and strategically viable. In summary, while many may rush to judge Toyota's approach as reluctant or disinterested, it is vital to understand the depth and nuance of their strategy. In a constantly changing world, with emerging challenges and evolving opportunities, Toyota appears determined not only to go with the flow but also to shape the course of the river. In their pursuit of sustainability, the automaker seems to be playing a long game, thinking not only about the next few years, but the next decades. Only time will tell which approach will prove more effective. Although there is growing enthusiasm about electric vehicles, EVs, obstacles still exist. Jack Hollis, Toyota's Vice President of Sales, signal that the market is not yet ready for widespread adoption. Toyota, upon analyzing the situation, chooses to diversify its investments. One of the main barriers lies in the production cost of EVs. Batteries are a vital and costly component. Their price has been influenced by inflation. Additionally, essential materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel are in high demand. The scarcity of these minerals further complicates large-scale production. Therefore, the sustainability of mass-producing EVs becomes a real concern. Another critical point is the current global energy crisis. Europe, a leader in advocating for EVs, faces significant dilemmas. Currently, it heavily relies on non-renewable sources like gas and oil. These fuels are crucial for energy generation in the region. The transition to clean energies has not yet been fully realized. Therefore, the dependence on these fuels is evident. Homes across Europe are facing heating problems. Energy rationing is already a current discussion. Considering this scenario, if there is a shortage of energy for households, how can one ensure the charge for millions of EVs? The recharging process is another aspect to consider. While refueling a combustion vehicle takes minutes, an EV requires more time for a full charge. This raises questions about the practical viability of EVs for everyone, especially in emergency situations. Toyota, in addition to global observation, looks at its home, Japan. The country imports 94% of its energy. This data is concerning. Adding thousands of EVs to the streets could intensify energy demand. It would be contradictory for the Asian nation to increase its external energy dependence by adopting a mass technology that would amplify this need. For Toyota, EVs are certainly promising and part of the future. However, they are not the sole solution. The company aspires to a carbon-neutral position and sees the need for a diversified approach. Research and development are not solely focused on EVs. They are investing in alternatives, such as hydrogen-powered vehicle technology, which could be an innovative and sustainable solution. For decades, Japan has seen hydrogen as a solution to its energy challenges. An island nation, dependent on external resources, needs to be innovative to ensure energy sufficiency. At the forefront of this movement, we have Toyota. Gil Pratt, leading the company's research efforts, expresses a clear vision. He wants everyone to have an active role in the fight against climate change. This is not a simple desire, and the path is not singular. Toyota seeks more than just recognition as an electric car manufacturer. They want to be acknowledged for their responsible stance. This includes a meticulous analysis of their emissions. The company's vision embraces not only pure electric vehicles but also hybrids and, of course, those powered by hydrogen. However, how do these hydrogen cars work? To a layperson, it may seem complex. These vehicles have hydrogen tanks. When hydrogen reacts with oxygen, it creates energy. This reaction produces electricity, heat, and water. While the electricity powers the car or is stored, the water vapor is released. A simplified view, electric cars use rechargeable batteries, while hydrogen ones generate their own electricity. However, an inevitable question arises. Are hydrogen cars a true solution? The data and experiences are mixed. Let's take the Tokyo Olympics as an example. Toyota provided 500 hydrogen vehicles. The investment was significant. Each rented bus had a substantial cost. When compared to a diesel vehicle, the difference is noticeable. The annual cost is substantially higher for hydrogen buses. However, most people are unfamiliar with this technology. This lack of awareness is a barrier to growth. If the public is unaware of the demand, investors hesitate. Why invest in hydrogen stations if there are no vehicles on the road? This is a real dilemma for Toyota and other stakeholders. However, there is a glimmer of hope. Refueling a hydrogen car is incredibly fast. It resembles the time it takes with conventional vehicles. Electric cars, on the other hand, require longer periods for charging. Toyota's strategy is comprehensive. They look at the present and future simultaneously. Regardless of the predominant technology in the future, Toyota does not want to be just a spectator. They want to be in control, setting the terms of the automotive market. Toyota's goals are ambitious. By 2030, they aim to sell millions of electric vehicles. This quantity would represent a considerable share of their current sales. Lexus, their luxury brand, has ambitious plans in strategic markets. The numbers don't lie, and Toyota has an enviable track record. Their 2021 figures are impressive, leading the global market. This, in a scenario where competitors like Volkswagen are investing massively in electric vehicles. Toyota's hesitations are understandable. There are challenges in transitioning to electric. Costs, the speed of change, and the bet on hydrogen are points of consideration. Japan has unique energy challenges, and Toyota acknowledges this. Putting all their chips on one technology is risky. In the face of a rapidly changing world, who are we to judge a giant for their caution? They have a legacy and a commitment. Personally, I respect this stance. How about you? How do you view this trajectory?